important is this game coming up?
Yeah, mate, it's a big one, another big one, and another good challenge for us. Like I said before, I've played some pretty good footy. We came up against a young side, Brisbane, on the weekend, who also played some good football, and we were able to sort of just scrape across the line. We probably didn't play our greatest game, so we've got plenty to learn and plenty to improve on, and so therefore this week becomes another big step for that.
After the win against Sydney, it was a bit of a reality check to get that against Brisbane?
Well, yeah, I guess it shows how close the competition is, really. That's if a few things don't, if you take a step back, or if anyone sort of shows any sign of that complacency or anything, it can catch you out. And as a group, I don't think we really felt like we were complacent at all, but we felt that when we played some good footy in that third quarter, perhaps, we were able to really open the game up a little bit. But to Brisbane's credit, they were really strong in staying hard at the contest. They took their opportunities when they got them and stayed in the game.
Essendon has been getting lashed by their fans at the moment. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, well, I'd imagine it'd be another hotly contested game. They've been up and down a little bit, I guess, so far, so they'll be out to make sure that that they're improving as well, and they're putting a full strength side on the park that are ready to go. So it'll be a good challenge again for us, and we're excited about it.
Does last year's performance carry any weight, or is that just in the past?
I guess we realised that we did have a poor game there last year, but when you look at the extent of it, we're probably more reviewing the last 3 weeks over what happened 30 weeks ago or whatever. So boys, we remember how it felt and how it was, but list change, game style sort of changed in the scheme of the off-season and stuff. So to sort of go back and try and say, this is what they did in this game, it probably loses a bit of relevance coming into another season. But we obviously remember it, and it wasn't a pretty day for us. So we'll go from there.
Can you have too much of a good thing, whereby you've got all these new midfielders, all these new midfield mixes that might take longer than you expect to actually work out what are your best rotations and when to use them?
I don't know if there's too much of a good thing, Rich. It's good having that depth in there, and there's a number of, I think it's a good thing for the group to have so many players that can rotate through there. And you saw Mott's in there on the weekend, Robbie, Chad, along with Rocky. I can keep naming them all off, but there's a number of guys that can go through there, and as long as you know your role and as long as you're playing your role within that, then I really don't think there's any issue around how many midfielders go through there. And as a mix sort of point of view, so as you talk about like the mix, I think any number of guys can work pretty well in sync together.
Did you spend much time over the pre-season roving to Billy Frampton or Sam Hayes?
Yeah, and they've had some pretty strong pre-seasons and showing some good signs. So, if they're ready to go, I know the coaches have got match committee today or tomorrow, and they'll make that call. But they're showing some good signs, and they are pushing for selection. Whether they get picked or not will be up to the coaches. I think the way that Westy, Dicko, even Dougal at times has done, they've done some pretty good jobs and been able to nullify some pretty top-notch ruckmen. So, I'd imagine if we went with that way, we'll be able to compete pretty hard again and keep, competing, I guess, is the big one for Westy in that.
How does that midfield dynamic change if Peps isn't there on Sunday?
Yeah, well, like I said, with the depth, I guess, there's a number of guys that can go through there, and there's a number of guys in the SNFL that are putting their hand up. There's, Joe Atley and Will Snelling have been standouts so far in the SNFL, and you see even Joey, like I said, Joey and Snells, they're both just chomping at the bit to get a game, and so that if they come in, they'll do everything right, and they'll make sure that they take their opportunity. So there's plenty of guys that are ready to go, but then there's also plenty of depth in the team already that can fill the void.
Did Steph Munn just have an amazing game, or do you feel...
What's that, sorry?
Did Steph Munn just have an amazing game on Saturday, or did you feel a little maybe exposed without having it?
I think that he had a pretty standout game. Credit where credit's due. He was really strong for them, and I think it was more the fact that we just weren't able to sort of nullify him at times, and that's not just the ruck. That's midfielders around the ground. His intercept marking and stuff like that doesn't just fall on the ruckman. So, he reads the game quite well, and he's, a player that is very agile and very mobile for a ruckman. So, you're not going to come up against those sort of types every week, but I think he had a great game, but I don't think it was overexposed by Paddy not being there.
Brad, do you find Eddie challenging? You haven't had the greatest of record on a ground that people think suits your speed, but you don't show that advantage there.
Yeah, that's. I don't mind Eddie, to be honest with you. It's nice, quick deck. Conditions are always pretty good, so I've never really had too many issues with it. But I guess the track record shows that we probably haven't had the best success there, so just have to make it count this week.
Is it the classic example of a ground where you've got to learn when to go fast and when not?
There's probably a little bit of that in there. Yeah, you just need to know the position on the ground where the time's right, or the position on the ground, or when the time is right to sort of do it, and it's also about sort of nullifying the opposition's speed as well. So Essendon are a pretty quick side, and that'll be another one for us.
How far away do you think Rockcliffe is to having a breakout game for Port?
Well, I really feel as if he's been doing his job pretty well. So that's in-house. We're not too concerned about his performances at all. He's playing a number of roles. He ends up going, midfield, forward, wing. He's sort of been pretty flexible with being able to adjust to that. So from a teammate's point of view, I've been loving him out on the ground. I think his voice and communications a real strength of his. But in terms of like a breakout game, I don't know, mate. It could be any time. Could be this week. The way he's looking and the way he's moving he's showing some really good signs. So, we're not too concerned about where he's at.
Any concerns about Ollie Wines and the fact we're a month into the season and he hasn't signed a new contract for next year yet?
Nah, mate. I'm not too concerned about that. That's I think Ollie. He's pretty entrenched in the group, and you can see that he loves Adelaide. He loves the club, and I'm not too concerned about him going anywhere next year or anything like that. I think it's more just him making sure that he's open to having the negotiation process, and he's we're happy with him doing that. If he needs to take that time to negotiate the best deal, then he can do that. But we're not too worried about him going anywhere. That's for sure.
He said this morning that he sees himself as a future captain of the club. Do you see that kind of trajectory from him as well?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think he's a real promising up and coming leader, and not even up and coming really. He's the vice captain now, but he is, what is he, 5th or 6th year? So he's shown plenty in his time at the club, and I know that'll only continue.
What is it about him that makes him such a good leader as a youngster, Brett?
Well, I think he really is. He's a real good bridge with older guys, younger guys. He's really. Well, the way he plays is fantastic to start with. I guess he leads by example. He does everything right on and off the field. And then, like I said, he is that real good bridge between, hanging out with the older guys as easy as he does hanging out with the first-year guys. So he's just at that right age and has those right characteristics of a good leader.